Hey, what is going on, Twintendo Nation? Hope you're having an awesome day. Now in today's video we're going to be looking at the top 10 strongest Generation 2 Pokemon in Pokemon Go. Now to calculate the strength of each Pokemon I'll be looking at their max combat power, move pool and attacking and defending qualities. Now if you enjoyed the video and would like me to make a video on the best gym attackers and defenders in Pokemon Go, then make sure to leave a like on this video. I made a few videos on that a while back, but now that we have a lot of Generation 2 Pokemon and a big move update that happened a few days ago, the list will have changed a lot. Now before I start today's video, question of the day to you guys: what is the strongest Pokemon you own in Pokemon Go? Let me know in the comments below, and without further ado guys, let's start the video. So starting off the list we have the hibernated Pokemon Ursaring. Now Ursaring has always been known as a strong Pokemon in the games and even the anime, and so it isn't surprising to see it make this list. Ursaring has the potential to reach a max combat power rating of 2760, which isn't half bad. Alongside that, Ursaring has a stamina value of 180, attack of 236 and defense of 144, which clearly shows Ursaring is best used as an attacking Pokemon. The best moveset for Ursaring is Metal Claw for its quick move, which does 8.57 damage per second, and Hyper Beam as its charged move, which does a hefty 32.37 damage per second. Now Ursaring is a great Pokemon, but unfortunately is let down by its typing, which leaves it weak to fighting moves and common Pokemon on gyms such as Dragonite and Exeggutor. However, it's still a great Pokemon and definitely worth having on your team. Next up is the Volcano Pokemon Typhlosion. Now it was a difficult decision to choose between this and Feraligatr, but even though it has less CP than Feraligatr, it has a better moveset and attacking potential. Typhlosion has the potential to reach 2686 CP and has great stats for attacking with 223 attack and decent defensive stats with 176 defense. Its best moveset is Ember with 8 damage per second and Overheat with 31 damage per second. And although it has a bit less attacking power than Ursaring, it is better defensively, which makes it a more versatile Pokemon. However, like Ursaring, Typhlosion is weak to a common type, in this case water, which is used a lot on gyms. I'm looking at you, Vaporeon. It's also weak to common gym Pokemon such as Dragonite and Snorlax. However, Typhlosion is no pushover and will be a great Pokemon to obtain. Following Typhlosion, we have the pincer Pokemon Scizor. Now Scizor is arguably one of the most popular Pokemon around, and with its good stats, Scizor will be winning over more fans by the day. Scizor can reach a solid CP of 2801 and has great attacking and defensive stats. In terms of attacking, Scizor has an attack of 236, and for defense, it has a very high defense stat of 191. Now the best moveset for Scizor would be Bullet Punch, which does 8.89 damage per second, and Iron Head, which does 26.32 damage per second. Now Scizor is very good at removing those pesky fairy types, however it is really weak to fire types, so it must avoid common fire type Pokemon such as Flareon and Arcanine, which is no easy feat. Still, Scizor definitely has its benefits and is a great Pokemon to have alongside your team. Coming in at number 7 is the armor Pokemon Donphan. Donphan is a very strong and versatile Pokemon which can reach a max CP of 3022 and has very useful attack and defense stats, which are both 214. With both great attack and defense stats, Donphan is one of the better defensive Pokemon in the game. Although it has great stats, Donphan's move pool lets it down slightly, with its best moveset being Counter, which does 8.89 damage per second, and Earthquake, which does 25 damage per second. Another problem for Donphan is that its counters are fairly common Pokemon on gyms, such as Dragonite, Vaporeon, Lapras and so on. However, because Donphan has both great attacking and defensive stats, it is more usable and versatile than a lot of other Pokemon, and that's what makes it a fantastic Pokemon and definitely worth obtaining in Pokemon Go. Next up on this list is the royal Pokemon Slowking. Now Slowking has a modest max combat power of 2482, but has a very even statistic spread of 190 stamina, 177 attack and 194 defense. Now these statistics make Slowking a very good defensive Pokemon. As well as having a good typing, it is on par with its cousin Slowbro, which just goes to show how hard Slowking is to beat. Slowking's best moveset is Water Gun, which does 8 damage per second, and Psychic, which does 22.14 damage per second. Although Slowking has modest CP, it doesn't have too many problems with other Pokemon and is a solid defensive Pokemon. However, its move pool is slightly lacking, and if you already have a Slowbro, then Slowking won't be much different in battle. However, it's still a great Pokemon to have on your team, and if you don't have a good Slowbro, then it's definitely worthwhile getting a really good Slowking on your team. Coming in at the halfway point, we have the Iron Snake Pokemon Steelix. Now Steelix is a Pokemon that will take a lot of work to get, but is definitely worth it, as it is very good at defending gyms with an incredible defense stat of 333. Although its max CP of 2439 and its below average attack stat of 148 might let it down somewhat, and its moveset of Iron Tail, which does 7.27 damage per second, and Heavy Slam, which does 17.14 damage per second, isn't that great. So we can clearly see Steelix is not a great attacking Pokemon, but is a very good defensive Pokemon, and its main counters such as Gyarados and Vaporeon need a lot of attacks to bring this thing down, so Steelix is definitely one of the best defenders out there currently, and is well worth using for defending gyms. Taking the number 4 spot is the elusive single horn Pokemon Heracross. Now Heracross can reach a fantastic max CP of 2938 and has fantastic stats in both attack and defense. The best moveset for Heracross is Counter, which does 11.11 damage per second, and Close Combat, which does 35.65 damage per second. This moveset, alongside Heracross's great attack stat of 234, mean it is one of the best attackers out there currently. Heracross is also a viable defensive Pokemon, as it has a good defense stat of 189 and is only really troubled by Dragonite and Fire types, so if you can avoid them, then Heracross will destroy gyms. Also, it's a great Blissey counter, so that's a bonus. So if you can manage to find one of these Pokemon, or if you have to take a trip to South America to catch one of these, it is definitely worth it, as Heracross is one of the best attacking Pokemon out there currently. Coming in at number 3, we have the Sun Pokemon Espeon. Espeon has the potential of reaching 3000 CP and has a fantastic attack stat of 261 and a good defense stat of 194. Although its stamina stat of 130 leaves a lot to be desired, it has a great moveset in Confusion, which does 11.88 damage per second, and Future Sight, which does a whopping 40.37 damage per second. Espeon is not only one of the best evolutions, it's one of the best attacking Pokemon period. Since Espeon also has a great defense stat alongside its attack, it makes it a fantastic defender as well. It's like this Pokemon can do no wrong. The only downside to Espeon is that Alakazam does everything better, and it is beatable by strong gym Pokemon such as Snorlax, Dragonite and Scizor. However, despite that, Espeon is a fairly easy Pokemon to obtain, which allows a lot more trainers to draw out its full potential than Alakazam. Taking the number 2 spot, we have arguably the most infamous Generation 2 Pokemon in Pokemon Go so far. This is the happiness Pokemon Blissey. Blissey has a monstrous stamina value of 510 and a very good defense stat of 229, making it one of the hardest, if not the hardest Pokemon to take down that are currently on gyms. Did I mention it has a max CP of 3219? This Pokemon is a monster. Blissey does have a mediocre attack stat of 129, but if you're attacking a gym with Blissey, you're playing the game wrong. It's honestly hard to come up with any negatives about this Pokemon, apart from the fact it isn't very versatile and it's only used for defending gyms. But that's okay, because Blissey outshines every other defensive Pokemon, even the bulky Snorlax. Coming in at number 1 is the Armor Pokemon, and no, it isn't Donphan, it's Tyranitar. Apparently they're both known as the Armor Pokemon, but anyway, I felt like I had to choose this Pokemon for the number 1 spot. Not only can it reach a crazy max CP of 3670, but it also has some of the best stats in the game, which are all spread out evenly unlike the majority of the Pokemon on this list. Tyranitar has 200 stamina, 251 attack and 212 defense, making it a monster at both attacking and defending gyms. This is the reason why I felt it had to beat Blissey, simply because it is so strong in both attack and defense, whereas Blissey only really focuses on defense. The best moveset for Tyranitar is Bite, which does 12 damage per second, and Stone Edge, which does 38.26 damage per second. Not only is Tyranitar great at attacking and defending, it is one of the best counters in the game, meaning nothing is safe from it. The only stronger Pokemon in the game than it currently is Dragonite, but believe me, it isn't far off it. So those are the top 10 strongest Generation 2 Pokemon in Pokemon Go at the moment. Let me know in the comments below which one is your favourite, and a lot of work and research went into this video, as you guys can see. So if you did enjoy it, a like on this video would really be appreciated. And if you want to see more videos like these, then hit the subscribe button down below. Also, shout out to Trainer Tips for making a spreadsheet with all the Pokemon and their updated quick moves. If you want to check it out yourself, there will be a link in the description. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you on the next video. Peace!